Hello and welcome to Table Talk on Benway Television. Today it's a very important day in the history of the state as we have visibly seen the tour of the governor, His Excellency the Executive Governor of Benue State, Reverend Father Dr. Hyacinth Umeh-Maliah, who has embarked on a thank you tour and visit across the 23 local government areas of the state with a flag off in Sankara, marking the three local governments coming together to form that axis. And the governor has been able to visit Kwande, has been able to visit Jechira and other parts of the state. He is set now to move to Zone C, where he is going to speak to our brothers and sisters over there to set the agenda for Benue and of course chart the way forward for development. This morning we have in the house a very ardent youth who has decided to distinguish himself in the sands of history when it comes to mobilization. I'm talking about no other person but the Honorable Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Benue State on Youth Mobilization and Empowerment. He's also the Youth Leader, Benue State. I'd like to welcome Honorable Moses Nkenem, FIMC CMC. Welcome to the studios of Benue Television.
Thank you very much.
I think I got your titles right.
Yes, correctly.
Yeah, for people who have worked tirelessly like you deserve to be given the rightful accolades, especially on a program like this. But when it comes to questions, I will not be patronizing you because we have to face the business of the day. Let's look at the governor's thank you tour, which started in Sankara, axis of the state, as a youth leader and of course one who is assisting the governor in a very senior capacity on youth mobilization and empowerment. I would want you to first begin from that angle. What do you think is the reception of the youths of the state to Governor Hyacinth Umeh-Maliah on this thank you tour?
Well, thank you very much for this great opportunity
You're welcome.
Speak in this regard. Been waiting. I was quite apprehensive speaking in this regard.
Yes.
But I want to first of all appreciate His Excellency Reverend Father Dr. Hyacinth Umeh-Maliah, who is the pinnacle of democracy, and the Benue people were expectant of what is happening today, and must appreciate what God is using His Excellency to do. The thank you tour, a lot of people have different perception about what is going on, particularly starting from the axis where the governor came from. But it is crystal clear to people who understand what the term democracy is. And the democracy is the government of the people. The governor is trying to go back. During the campaign period, there were promises. Within a stipulated time of 1 year, the governor did a wonderful job in the state. He met a system that was at the verge of capsizing. He restructured it, positioned it. People can actually see life in democracy. To where we are, his visit is more of to look at what he promised the people again. If he's actually touching it. If you can see, it's very obvious that any place he visit, he has work project. This is the governor that is for the people.
It's
so
right
starting
now.
from that axis,
Yes.
he's not starting because he chose to visit Sankara for different reasons. It's just a starting point, and it's highlighting those areas. There were promises. This is a governor who is determined to deliver. He's poised with these qualities.
It's all right. You did say very clearly, if I got you right, that he took over from a government, a democracy that was almost at the verge of capsizing. I want you to expatiate on that. How do you mean?
It is crystal clear to everybody. Where you met, where the governor met dilapidated infrastructure, where we have poor system, the economic system was almost going off completely. The IGR of the state was declined to the barest minimum, and the whole system was messed up.
All right, I now understand what you meant by the state was almost being going to its point of being capsized. I think that was quite straight and strong. Let's look at this. Of all the visit or the tour across the local government areas, there is a remarkable visit, and that's the visit on the people of Ikwande. You observe that people had waited from morning till it was night, and they were never tired waiting for the governor. And when the governor arrived, they were more cheerful, and there was no show that they were waiting for someone and they were tired. I was beginning to ask myself, what could have informed such a reception? Is there anything extraordinary the governor is doing to have warranted such a level of reception and acceptance?
I expect you to know that the governor is an extraordinary being. He's performing wonders. It's not just the people of Ikwande that waited for him. It happens in Boko. And it will happen. What about Gwegwe West? Somebody who is doing what people never expected that they will even experience in a democratic government.
Yes.
This is happening. Do you expect the Benue people to sleep? They are awake. They are overwhelmed. They are happy. And they're expecting the governor. They feel it's a form of encouragement, a form of appreciation that what you are giving to us, we're happy. Pensioners were there. Civil servants were there. The youth were there because the governor is coming up with beautiful programs.
It's all right. Now let's look at the strength and weight of the contract he has awarded so far while the tour is ongoing. If we want to take local government after local government, we'll spend the whole of the day here because a lot of activities have unfolded in the recent time. But let's look at the major highlights. That's the essence of the program line. In Kasnala, which I was also there to cover the event, specifically the governor had awarded up to 3 road projects. He has one in Ukum, one in Logo, and then one in Kasnala. But beyond the road project, the governor had also promised other things he would do for the state. The people made requests of water projects and all of that. I am beginning to be afraid. Don't you think they're asking for too much from the governor?
Now they know who is piloting the affairs. They trust the captain, and they know that he's capable of doing it. You know, when he won the election, the Benue people named him Mr. Tokandu. And respectively, you can observe that he has been doing that. Nothing changes. This is somebody I know. I can confidently tell you that what he cannot do, he will tell you straight, we can't do it. But when he speaks, you see action. This somebody in 1 year, the Benue people are already rejoicing. And this is a journey of 8 years. He just spent a year out of it, and the Benue people are happy. What do you expect? This is Mr. Talk and Do that we're discussing here.
It's all right. Now let's put this aside and also look at the inside issues. We'll talk about the youths briefly. You are fortunately the youth leader of the state. The youths in the state have been in the past impoverished. Poverty, unemployment, so much more. What have you been talking to His Excellency as you tour around to do for the youths, because they are expecting from the youths as well? There are projects that could be done strictly for the youths, and they will benefit from such projects. What projects have you in mind, and which of them have you been able to discuss with His Excellency to accomplish on behalf of the youths of Benue State?
Thank you very much. Let me appreciate you for asking me this question, because I was becoming quite apprehensive to discuss this very topic.
Yeah.
And I must tell you that His Excellency selected the best brains, competent hands that can support him to revive the system. And there is a total revival project. And considering this factor, like I said earlier, we met a system that was at the verge of capsizing. His Excellency brought a formidable team that will support the system. And we are all prepared. It's not just about him, it's about us. It's not about what he's going to do. All he just needs to do is to point. As I speak with you, I understand that I have to, because I'm in charge of youth empowerment as well.
Yes.
I have to build up programs that can be able to take the youth off the street. That has been my primary concern for the past 1 year. And I've been thinking about this over time. I've drawn up programs. By September, October, I'll be flagging off my first project called Benue Skills Profile.
Okay. What is it all about?
Benue Skills Profile we're trying to set up a system that we can profile all Benue youths who are professionals in different fields,
Okay.
artisans, and the ones with skills. We profile them. The governor can be able to see a clear extension of people that are with skills and those who doesn't have anything to do at all.
Okay.
This from this end, we can be able to fish out people to empower, and through profiling these people, we can expose them to the society out there, so people can hire them from any part of the world.
Yeah. So does it mean there was no profiling of the youth before? There was no database of it?
There was nothing like database of the youths in the state.
So invariably,
have
the
it.
state wasn't doing anything for the youth. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it has never been in existence. It was recently that the governor called my attention that I have to look at this. That we live in a global village. He needed that system, which I consider this factor. And that very platform is where people can access jobs. We've connected to over 2,000 jobs globally.
So now this project you're talking about, how is it going to touch on the lives of all the youths across the 23 local governments? Not all of them will be able to come to the capital city to do certain things.
The project is called Benue Skills Profile.
Okay.
We're going to profile all Benue youths, both the ones in diaspora. We're going to profile all the youths in the state. We have them in one place. We expose them. The data is built in a form that you create your account, you upload your details. If you're a technician, I've signed agreement MOU with Ministry of Labor and Employment. If you don't have trade test and you're a plumber, you can go there and they'll issue your trade test, you upload your details.
Okay.
So in your comfort zone, you can sit in your house and you hire a plumber.
Okay.
By so doing, we take this youth off the street. Some of these youth you see running around the street, they are educated. Some are artisans.
That's all right. I haven't just this almost skipped my memory, but thank goodness I have been able to remember. When I was in Sankara with His Excellency, the people of Sankara made a request to the governor, and this was made through the honorable member representing that zone in the Green Chambers,
Yes.
Honorable Solomon Wombo.
Yes.
He said what they are expecting from His Excellency is to take the youths off the bush and bring them home to reunite with the people. He said youths have gone to become people who live in the bush and come back to attack their own people, and this has continued for several years. It behooves you as a youth leader to also speak to the youths who are there in the bush. They are not animals that will have to remain in the bush for decades. What are you doing in that regard?
One of the fundamental challenges I've pictured in the aspect of these youths in the bush is you can't just bring these people out without engaging them.
Good.
You can't just bring them out and you watch them go around the street causing mayhem in the society again.
So what do you intend to do? Because
So,
there must be something. You must have a plan.
Yes. This very program, we're going to extend it to skills acquisition programs. We're going to extend it from outside profiling the youth. We're going to extend it to a skills acquisition program. Let's see how we can be able to train them. When you bring them out, you should be able to give them a sense of belonging. By so doing, they must have something doing.
So how about those who may not be willing to embrace, handwork or crafts as you are talking about? Not all of them would be keenly interested in doing that.
There's something each and every one of them must accept to do. Must. Because every human that lives in this world has a desire. We have community. We now have a new security outfit in the state. Government can, some may wish to disjoin them, and government can engage them. Some that they may some that they may desire to acquire some level of skills, we engage them, we train them, and we provide them. so that people can engage them in any part of the world.
It's okay. Now, there is a message people are also expecting you to pass across. This is an opportunity the governor has provided for you to reach out to the youth across the 23 local governments ever since you came on board as the, not just the youth leader, but of course the senior special assistant to the governor on youth mobilization and empowerment. This is marking the first time you are touring the 23 local governments, which means for every local government that we visit, you should have a message for the youth. Let's talk about what you are doing in the area of ensuring that there are programs in terms of education for the youths. Some are interested in going to school, but they will tell you, I do not have what to do, and that's why I'm doing a particular thing or a certain thing that is nefarious. What program do you intend to do as a youth leader using this momentous period to capture the youth's interest, bring them back to unite with the state and become productive?
Thank you.
Beyond this skills acquisition that you have mentioned here.
Thank you very much. I wouldn't want to air out everything here because these are good initiatives that may be tapped from somewhere.
Okay.
You understand? But I've prepared some programs that may encourage some form of scholarship for people who are willing to go back to school. But I wouldn't want to discuss everything.
It's all right.
Because the whole world is listening to us.
It's okay. So now let's also turn our attention to the main thank you tour of His Excellency. I have been following keenly what is happening. Tell us about the Kwande people. That's where you belong.
Yes.
Of course, and you should know exactly the immediate need of the Kwande people. If you had the opportunity to tell His Excellency that this is what the Kwande people would need, what would you have mentioned?
He's already on it and is aware.
No, I'm talking about you as an individual, because that was portrayed by the Kwande people. If you as an individual had the opportunity to tell His Excellency, this is the project I, Honorable Mkenem, wants to be done for my people, what would you have mentioned?
Well, if you ask me, basically, the basic things that the people need is already on it. A good roads,
a
flagged off project, the water system is engaging, all of that. And also he also promised to attend to some certain problems which he discussed it. I wouldn't want to speak more of that, but what he didn't mention, which I may be expecting to tell him, is you hand over after 8 years, you hand over to 20 people. So I will continue from there.
That's a very fast one, Honorable Moses. It's a very fast one, because for you to have seen, that's 2027 you're talking about. That's a very
not 2027.
That's going to be 2027.
No, not 2027.
Okay, after 4 years.
After 8 years.
Okay, after
hand over to Kwande.
So after 8 years should be 2027. Let's do the check.
No, it's not 2027.
20?
This is 2024.
Yeah,
2027 he'll be completing his first tenure.
Yes.
So that will be 2030.
All right. I think I was the one who was lost there. So
exactly.
So you are expecting that after that you should be able to hand over to
Kwande.
the Kwande people.
Yes.
All right.
So that will continue from where he stopped. You know,
you see, Kwande is so blessed. I want to bring this to you. This is a taboo discussion, so let's talk about it. You have to be grateful to His Excellency. I think the Kwande people seem to have enjoyed more appointments than any other local government. I can count if you doubt.
That's true.
Yeah, so now, and from the inception of democracy, you have always been, I don't know how you get to become so close to the governor, but there are a lot of appointments so far. You also have a king. What more do you need? Honorable.
Well,
is that not enough?
Well,
you have a king. This is a king that is going to be on seat for as long as.
Let me say something.
Go ahead, please.
It is very obvious that some certain element in the state, I wouldn't want to refer to these people as humans because they don't think like humans.
Yes.
They're already aggrieved that they have powers to determine where
the pendulum will swing.
Exactly. And we feel that our principal, the leader of APC, the leader of democracy in the state,
yes,
who is performing wonders, should not be threatened until people will have the foresight,
yes,
to see what democracy is all about, and they will understand that our principles are the pinnacle of it, that we can be able to consider them. But as it stands, Let's keep it where development is coming from.
It's all right. Now, Honorable, before we go on the break, I would want us to talk about this very briefly. The most needed resource in every state, in every democracy, is peace and unity. A lot of development projects are ongoing everywhere. We can see them because it's no longer something that someone tells you something is going on here or what is happening here. We are seeing it. Where the people are still worried is the aspect of the unity of the people, especially in your political party. That's the All Progressives Congress.
There's unity in the system.
How sure are you?
Absolute unity
Tell us
in the
more.
system.
We were interested to know.
We don't. What we are doing is the governor was voted to work for the state.
Yes.
To make Benue a better place.
Yes.
He's doing the needful.
Whosoever
that is not happy.
Honorable, you seem to be running away so fast, but I'll have to bring you back to this question.
Okay.
The complaint we receive from the people and what we see and what we feel and what we hear is that the state is doing well, but disconnected from our sons who are over there at the national level.
How?
I would want you to speak to us about this.
How?
Okay, fine. We have always had issues of how disconnected His Excellency is.
How?
I'm just coming. How His Excellency is with the SGF.
Oh,
Not only the SGF. I'm mentioning. I must be very categorical. The SGF, some members of House of Rep who are actually there at the national level with the SGF, some senators. Okay, throughout the thank you tour, I've not seen any of them. What's happening? Have you seen any?
Well, probably, I assume that they have some other engagements. That's why they're not here. But I can tell you categorically that our principal, the governor of Benue State, His Excellency Reverend Father Dr. Hyacinth Yomem Alia, is a peace and a democratic person.
And that
is a strong Democrat.
And that is why, as
who
someone
believes in development and unity of the people.
Good. Are we united as a Benue people?
We are united.
Politically?
Politically, we are united.
Okay, I understand. Well, but I understand.
The good people of Benue State are enjoying dividends of democracy. What else is unity?
Do you believe in stakeholders?
What is stakeholders?
Do you believe in stakeholders?
First of all, you must understand the term stakeholders.
Please, can you kindly define stakeholders and stakeholders?
I don't know what stakeholders and stakeholders is all about. I don't know. I don't have it here.
Honorable Kenan, I know you.
Look,
I know you for a very vocal
Let me
person.
quickly tell you
Okay,
something.
go ahead. Go ahead.
The idea of democracy is to provide dividends and well-being, security for her citizenry. To where we are today, the governor is poised to apply all this effect. He's doing the needful. It's not about one person. We're not discussing monocracy or despotism here. We're discussing democracy.
Yeah.
There's unity in the system. Whosoever that must or in some way feel aggrieved with what His Excellency is doing, we are looking forward. The people are happy, and that is the essence of democracy.
I want to recap the words of former national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, now a member of the All Progressives Congress and former Guba candidate of the state, and one-time senator of this state as well. I'm talking about Senator B.I. Gamade. I was there in Sankara when he spoke, and he was very explicit. He said the governor does not have a godfather. The governor can only have a father. I don't know. I've been trying to make meaning out of this statement, but you are a politician. I don't know whether you have any interpretation to that statement.
Very well. Can elaborate if you want
please
to
go
know
ahead.
more about it.
Yes.
There's nothing like godfatherism
In the
a
Benue politics.
democratic system of government.
How about Benue?
But there's leadership in democratic system of government. and His Excellency Reverend Father Dr. Hyacinth Omalia is the leader and the governor of the state. So I don't know where the term Godfather is coming from.
As against the narrative, there is a leader somewhere.
Yes, there's a leader. The only leader we know in this state is Alia, who is the governor of the state, who is piloting the affairs of the party and the leadership of governors in the state.
It's all right. You are the youth leader. I think on that note, you have answered that question as a politician. Let me bring you back to what I would want you to. There is a popular saying by some youths in the state. I'm mindful because we are going for the break very soon. There is a saying, everywhere you go, you see this. They say the earlier, the better. I don't know whether it's a typographical error.
No earlier, no Benue.
Yes, but why? Because we have had other governors, but there has never been any saying that there is no this person, there is no Benue. Where is that coming from, and what does it really connote?
I expected you to see more of this because we expected development, now we have it. We expected unity, now we have it. We expected security, now we have it. I want to tell you, particularly in Benue State, that people are going back to their farms. The areas they abandoned, the areas the people could not go back to, they are now going back to those places.
It's okay.
I want to tell you that even America, they are struggling with security. It's a global challenge. I can't understand the miracle behind what His Excellency is doing in Benue State, but it's wonderful. I feel like America should engage him to help them.
There is another nickname that I seek clarification, because Benue people are fast learning people. We see Ohiti, and I don't see that as a team name, neither is that an English name. Where is that coming from?
A resort oriented person.
Okay, is that the meaning of Ohiti?
Yes.
All right, now we're due for a break at this point. We are going to come back to continue with our engagement with the Honorable Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Youth Empowerment and Mobilization, the youth leader of Benue State, Honorable Moses Mkenem, who is in the house here talking to us. We shall come back very shortly to continue with our engagement. Stay with us. Welcome back to the studios of Benue Television. This is Table Talk, a place where we shake the table, but we never break the table. This morning we are here with the Honorable Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Youth Empowerment and Mobilization. That's talking about Honorable Moses Mkenem, who is here and ready to answer any question as concerns his principal, His Excellency the Executive Governor of Benue State. Well, we've spoken about so many things. There are a lot that we still need to talk about.
Okay.
Now, when you were talking about after the expiration of the tenure, the 8 years, according to you,
yes,
you had already seen the governor
8 years.
After 8 years.
Yes.
But of course, there is constitutionally we have a single term of 4 years. What if your principal is not interested in going
He
the 8
even
years?
deserves 16 years.
No, the question is, what if he's not interested in
We'll
running
force
more?
him to do that.
It's okay. Now, when you talk about
By force. He's
Okay.
not going anywhere.
Okay, now given the term Pequande people, which you had said, anyway, it's said popularly that anyone who wants to pull the rope, he does it pull into his own side. So I don't have any problem with that. How about the people of Zone C? Some time ago, the now SGF, when he was the governor, he had promised that after the expiration of his tenure, he was going to give power to the Zone C people. We have got 25 years of democracy. We have our other brothers, the Zone C people, which comprise of two kingdoms, predominantly the Igede and the Idoma people. Have you never had a thought about giving them a chance to also rule the state?
You were precise about where I'm coming from.
And that's so now is a question.
You said, coming from Kwande, if I'm given the opportunity to ask governor,
yes,
what he is not doing or what people might not be expecting.
Yes. So now that
I responded, I will ask him to hand over to us.
Okay. Now that
you also grant the same opportunity for the Zone C people.
Yes.
And they may also present their request.
But do you support that they also deserve a chance as a Democrat beyond the politics of your own local government? And of course,
you're asking, this is a two-sided question.
Yes.
More of a coin.
Yes.
The other face is wearing a different question. The other face is wearing a different question.
Yes.
Are you not taking me to Zone C?
Yes, of course. Because the tour is across the zones, and that's the last zone to be visited. What if the people of Zone C will come out boldly to ask His Excellency that after your tenure, give it to us? Do you think he should do it? Because you have the capacity to advise him.
Leadership is based on capacity. He will weigh the options.
Are you saying that there is nobody in Zone C with the capacity to?
I said leadership is based on capacity.
Yes.
He will weigh the options. If they are prepared, he will hand over to them. I know my principal. He can do that.
All right then. Well, let's also take a moment to talk about some of the projects the governor has done. It would be a disservice if we talk about all of this for 1 hour without making reference to what His Excellency has done for the people of the state. So let's take a look at some of the monumental projects which have captured your attention. You would want, because I'm not talking about all the projects, just mention a few of them that actually have caught your attention and you would want to talk about them anywhere you go.
Well, let me take you back a little bit. Back then when I was in Lagos, I brought some investors into Benue State to handle waste management. And when they got here and they saw the poor road system, they first of all started thinking about their capital base. The capital base, in the essence of them bringing vehicles, having the poor road system, they may not be able to last in the business.
Yeah.
Today, I can boldly go in any part of the world and tell investors, come to Benue State. You have the best place to invest. So when you want to talk about project in this present administration, I think you might be discussing a story that is in the past, because when you want to talk about the well-being of Americans will tell you that what they are thinking about now is what they can do with what they have. That's the situation we're in.
It's all right. Now let's turn our attention to having these industries in the state. Benue in the past was recognized for certain things that were here when other states couldn't afford to have. We had Benue breweries in those days. We had Tarakumis in those days. And some other BIPC was quite very strong. And of course, we had Lobby Bank in those days, which was very strong, rolling out loans to people, and people were doing business in the state. I'm happy that Novus Bank is now back, courtesy His Excellency. People are looking up to Benue breweries. The youth of this state consume a lot of beer. I don't know if there is any green light of that project coming back to stream anytime soon. You have been talking to His Excellency. Do you have any hint?
Sooner than you may even expect. As I speak with you, the governor is on top of the situation in the state. I'm 100% sure that he's not going to leave the state the way he met it. Already, he engaged scientists, because what some people may not understand is you cannot just establish industries in Benue State. First of all, you need to have improved seedlings that may be able to power these industries.
Yes.
If you look at the juice factory that people talk about, let's look at oranges. The ones we have in Benue State produce just once in a year, which means if you have these factories functioning without having the improved ones that produce 3 times to 4 times in a year, which you can get it in Israel. If you don't have these ones here in the state, which means after production in 1 year you have to close down all the factories and wait for another farming season, which is another year. It cannot work. So like I said the governor met the system at the verge of capsizing. The past governors never thought of this very situation. They always tell people we want to set up industries. There's no magic to this. We have our tomatoes produced only once in a year, which means if you produce in a year, you have to close down factories and wait for another year. The industries cannot survive.
So where do you want us to begin?
The governor came on board. This is somebody who traveled wide. He's exposed, educated, who understands the system. He discovered that what the Benue need immediately is infrastructure. He's setting up the infrastructure. After the infrastructure, they are training scientists. They've gone back to their labs. They are looking at what we can do to improve on what we have that can be able to produce very well. Then we bring up industries. The soya beans factory they talk about produce what the soya beans we have here produce once in a year. So which means after 6 months of production you have to close down factories and wait for another year. It doesn't work that way. In the whole nation, what we have in the aspect of agriculture produce just once in a year. Our cassava here will wait for 2 years. So what do you expect? So by the time we finish the road infrastructure, we set up these industries. By this time, I believe, like if we look at what advisor to the governor on the international investment is doing, he brought this palm seedlings that are producing 3 times to 4 times in a year.
Okay, that's Tenera.
You understand?
Yes.
So look at what the governor is doing, and the governor is empowering, building the system. I want to tell you that in the next 3, 4, 5 years, Benue might be next to Malaysia, with what Adingi is doing in the state.
It's all right. Now let's look at an area that we don't have to forget in a hurry. You are the advisor to the governor, not just on the youth.
I'm a senior special assistant.
Senior special assistant to the governor, not only on youth empowerment but mobilization as well.
Yes.
Now it means you have the responsibility to mobilize the youth for various projects that will benefit them. At a national level, what do you intend to mobilize the youth for in the nearest future?
Well, the first thing when I came on board, I discovered that I needed to do urgently was to set up structures, which I introduced Central Youth across the state. There's a platform that we have a representative in every community in the state. So whatever project we're going to carry out now will be very effective because it will touch every point. We have representative that we can hold them accountable. So the structure first, we have the structure. I'm waiting for my principal. I'm also building up my programs. Before the end of the year, trust me, the youth of this state will smile.
Wow, that's a very robust one there. The youths, I hope you're listening to your youth leader and of course your senior special assistant to the governor. By the end of the time, he has said if he's not able to do this, you hold him accountable. Now, Honorable Mkenem, there is also this matter that you need to comment on. The security of any state is sacrosanct, and security is everything to the existence of the people. The future of this state is in the hands of the youth. Insecurity has lingered for quite a very long time. Even before the beginning of this administration, there was high level of insecurity. And only the youths have the capacity to be able to stem issues of insecurity to the tide. What do you think you are capable of doing with the number of youths we have in the state to be able to arrest the insecurity that we have in the state? It's also part of your responsibility.
Well, aside setting up structures to have these youths together so that we can be able to reach out respectively, we also consider the aspect of security, which can broadly tell you that in every community today we have a representative, and the level of crime in the state is actually getting to the barest minimum.
Okay.
They are doing a wonderful job. I can tell you that if you go to Zone A today, you discover that if you kidnap somebody within 2 hours, the youths always get hold of the person. You can't get away with it. But these are some of the things we are not supposed to discuss on the television. It's part of security, and security is secret.
Security is indeed sacred. Now, the governor is going to round up the tour of the 23 local governments with Zone C. Zone C comprises 9 local governments.
Yes.
You know that in terms of road infrastructure, is one of the poorest zones. The last time I had guests on the program, I asked this question: what were the past leaders of that area doing? Because we have had Senate President twice in that area. We have had ministers. But when you visit Otukpo, which is the headquarters of Zone C, it's looking very, very poor in terms of infrastructure. What significant project do you intend the governor should also do for the people of Zone C and the youths of Zone C as well?
Well, you asked a direct question
Yes.
earlier, which I responded to. I said,
Yes.
Leadership is based on capacity.
No, beyond leadership, what do you think you should be able to do for the people of Zone C and the youths there?
Allow me to respond to you.
Go ahead.
Correctly, because leadership is based on capacity. There are people who have enjoyed positions in the time past that is more than a governor. More than a governor. A Senate President is more than a governor. Yes, they have opportunities of doing this project, awarding big projects. Everybody expected that David Mark would have done something in Idomaland, or Idopotupo to be precise, which he didn't do anything. Where we don't want to push planes, but before this visit, governor already awarded flyover in Otopo.
Are you sure he didn't do anything? We have a college of health sciences there in Otukpo.
I thought you are discussing the area of infrastructure.
Okay, the area of infrastructure, basically. Now that
you can't give people education when they can't have access road to that education.
Okay.
You cannot go and set up, before you set up an institution, you should be able to give people access to that institution.
Okay, so now are you saying that because they were not able to do these things, we should leave them to their fate? Because the governor is for everybody.
And I said leadership is based on capacity. Before this visit, he awarded a flyover in Otopo.
Yes.
I don't know the contract is going there to award again. That's what I know my principal for. You see, when Akume came in power, he checkmated the previous administration before him.
Yes.
When Soswan came in power, he could not do that. When Oton came in power, he pushed blame games and he was busy.
Why was Soswan not able to do that?
Because he was determined to work. If we check the system, Soswan did better than Akume. Yes.
Are you sure?
100% sure. He did better than Akume.
What makes you
And
think?
Soswan did better than Oton. And if we give them opportunity to come and take power, they will still hunt earlier. Who is doing better?
What makes you think this? Where are you getting your analysis and comparison? Are you sure?
We are in the system and we observe the system, we study the system, and we know what is going on.
Okay.
These are people that I don't know where they belong, but they hate development. They hate development.
Now, I want to ask you this question. I know you give me a straight answer. Are you sure these past leaders are willing to join hands with His Excellency to move the state further?
Like I said, there's no fight anywhere. The governor is not angry with anybody. He's not fighting anybody.
No,
let me tell you something. I want to tell you something
so that
you understand.
Go ahead, please.
It's about the people, the well-being of the state. He's ready to welcome anybody
But
that's willing to join him to develop the state.
Honorable, but the question I asked was very simple. State democracy and leadership is collective responsibility. When the governor couldn't mobilize the youth, that was why he called you to join with him to do it.
Let me correct you on this, so that you don't get it wrong.
It's okay.
Are you aware that Gumade took His Excellency to the Supreme Court?
I understand that. Good.
Listen to me carefully.
Go ahead.
When he discovered that, this man is fighting is doing wonders in the state, he quickly came back and joined him.
Okay. Very well.
Anybody that sees that the governor is doing a good job should come and join.
Correct.
Let me tell you, we've gotten to that phase where we're not going to allow any nonsense in the state.
I don't know the definition
if you are not for good governance in this state, personally, I am telling you that myself and the youth of this state will war against you.
Okay. Now, invariably or directly, what you're saying is that if past leaders realize that they failed,
yes,
join hands with His Excellency to work together.
Simple.
Good. That was the answer I had expected from you. Well,
you don't expect me to put it straight. I need to remind them of their mistakes.
It's okay. Now let's also take a look at, because time is fast running, and I would want us to look at this finally before you exit the set. The youth of the state seem to be very actively working to ensure that His Excellency succeeds. It's shown. We saw on Democracy Day, we saw how your entire dress was soaked in sweat because you were moving around and without getting tired. It's a clear show that you were happy the youths had shown that collaboration to work with His Excellency. Now, it is said that when you use one hand to rub the other one, the other should also feel the effect of that hand that is rubbing it. Now that there is this much support, I would want to ask you, what legacy do you think you intend to leave back for the youth when you exit your current office?
Thank you. I wouldn't want to leave this office the way I met it. When I was given this opportunity, there was no fight anywhere to keep the records of the youth in the state. Now I have it. I'm also, this very platform, this program I told you earlier, like there's some certain things I don't want to air it out here.
Yes.
But it's that very program can confidently is capable of taking care of the youth in the state. It's going to generate a lot of revenue. I will use it to empower the youth. I wouldn't want to discuss everything here, but from October, I'm sure the youth of the state will be happy.
Okay, from October?
From October, I can assure you that the youth of the state will be happy.
That's exactly around the month of independence.
So certainly I will not leave it the way I met it.
It's all right. Okay, now finally, before you leave, finally, because the other one was finally, now it's finally. In your next, interaction with His Excellency, what do you intend to tell him on behalf of the state and the area you represent? For every time you visit the governor, I know you tell him.
Well, in time past, I seems to be quite apprehensive because it's not doing anything about it. But when I weigh the program, I have to be patient.
Okay.
I will only tell him that we are patient because we know what he's going to do.
Okay. It's all right. Thank you very much. I must appreciate you very warmly for being a part of this program. And Honorable Moses Mkenen, FIMC and CMC, that's the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Youth Mobilization and Empowerment. Of course, the youth leader of Benue State has been speaking here on the tour of the Governor, His Excellency, and his principal, and the expectation of the Benue people, as well as the highlights of this tour. I want to thank you very much indeed for your appearance here on Benue Television.
Thank you very much.
We hope to have you very soon again so that you can talk about other issues as well.
Thank you very much.
And so this is where we have to say goodbye. Very many thanks to all of you for staying glued and watching Benway Television. You can join us sometime for yet another very captivating edition of the program. My name is Japhet Kwahom. Goodbye for now and keep watching Benway Television.
Into the world of news, current affairs, and entertainment. Ready for a first stop? Ride with me. Benway Television.
Our news and flagship program, Daybreak Benway, keeps you informed on events,